All right, welcome everybody to Geeks Under Grace live stream interview with the Ember Days. I'm Drew Kaler from Geeks Under Grace, and just a quick reference point here. I discovered this band online on Noise Trade. I found one of their albums. I was looking for bands that resembled Coldplay, because I'm a huge Coldplay fan. For most of you guys that have watched anything that I've done, I like to talk about Coldplay a lot. So I typed in Coldplay. I saw this band, the Ember Days. I was like, all right, I'll give them a shot. And to be totally honest, I expected a dude to sing, but it wasn't. And it was even cooler because it was a chick singing. So I thought that was pretty neat. So with me is Jason Belcher of the Ember Days, and I'm going to let him just kind of talk about the band, talk about who's in the band, what the band's all about, and whatever questions I come with from there, I will ask those things. And then if you guys are watching at home with this live stream, on the Q&A portion of your YouTube channel, hit the Q&A, the little quotations, and then you can ask whatever questions that you want to ask to Jason or to me, but probably not to me. You guys already know enough about me. So I'm going to turn it over to Jason, and Jason is going to talk until we both get tired.
So, yeah, I'm Jason. I play guitar in the Ember Days. I started the band about 8 years ago. I met Janelle in Chicago, and we fell in love, and we got married, and then we flew to New Zealand and started a band. That's quite a long story short.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and so we've had a few different members over the years. The current lineup has been, I guess, the main lineup. We've had the current lineup for about 4 or 5 years. It's me, and then my wife Janelle is the singer of the band, and then we have Logan McKenzie on guitar. He's amazing. And then Jordan, his brother, on drums. He's really, really good. And we have Jed that does bass and a bit of auxiliary stuff, different key stuff and fun stuff. So that's the current setup of the band. We've had different members from the beginning. It was kind of a really unique setup, but life happens. People get married. People just have to make different decisions, and so all the member changes over the years have always been for honourable purposes.
Yeah.
It's like, I get married, and I want to spend time with my wife, not being stuck in a van for 9 months a year.
Absolutely.
So I need to put my wife first, kind of thing, and like, who could argue with that? Like, that's amazing. So we've lost some incredible musicians, but we've also gained some incredible musicians. So the current lineup is super solid, and I don't really see it changing in the near future. And the band's in a really beautiful place creatively right now, because we've just been, like, this current lineup has been playing together and writing together for like 4 or 5 years, and there's probably been like between 600 shows, maybe 700 shows in that space of time. So it's a solid unit.
Yeah. So what? Why did Ember Days start? What's the band's name mean? What was your vision? Because you started the band. So what was, when you first? Did you feel like do you feel like it came from the Lord, or was it just a desire first, and then the Lord kind of grew it out of you?
Yeah, ever since I was a kid, before I even really understood what was going on, I'd be at church and listening to the worship bands playing, and the music, and in my head I didn't realize it was called producing, but I was already producing in my head, like, they could have done this, they could do that, this would be so much cooler, like, they could have made it more epic in this way, like, this melody could be better this way. Like, as like a kid, I don't even know what that was. Just as a kid, I'm sitting in worship, just like, my head's going a million miles an hour, just thinking, like, I want to make God's worship just amazing. I want to try and create these beautiful sounds in an honest way, and that desire just kind of grew and grew throughout my teenage years. Lots of ups and downs in those years, and but about 19, I really had an amazing encounter with God, and started getting vision for the band in a more clear way.
Okay.
I went and studied some worship at a school in the States, and really wanted to do a band that was writing honest worship music.
Now you say honest worship music. So I don't know if you've been following recently with this kind of some Christian controversy going on with the band Gungor. Have you been following that at all?
A little bit.
So, yeah, and I don't. I mean, I know everybody's got their own sides of the coin, and everybody has their own opinions. But what to you is honest worship versus dishonest worship music?
Well, for me, it's a bit of a bigger question. Like,
we're going deep.
Yeah. I'm talking more than a theological or philosophical thing here. It's more, I feel like a lot of okay, so growing up, there was a lot of worship songs that were like really meaningful lyrics, like almost like a song of intimacy and love to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But the vibe of the song was like a pop punk song, or quite aggressive, and it's like the music isn't communicating the same heart or emotion as what the lyrics are.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, it was more about trying to communicate, have the music really unite with the lyrics. Excuse me. Hey, Janelle. I'm having an interview. If you could not yell, I'd love that.
Bring Janelle up for the interview, man.
Yeah, she's watching our 2.5-year-old right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. But, yeah, so basically it was trying to do that and then write lyrics that are honest. Like, if you say, like, I don't know, Lord, you have all of my heart. That may like be true to you one day, but like the reality is, like, I don't know if there's many days I could honestly say that. I keep a lot of my heart for myself, you know. So trying to write songs that you can sing from an honest place, that you know you're not like kidding yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Songs that are. The thing is, like, a lot of the songs that we sing in church are written in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of amazing songwriters that write really amazing songs for church. And most of those songs are designed to be super singable, super simple, super easy, super basic.
Yeah.
And then you have the other side of the Christian music industry, which is one moment, sorry.
Sorry,
I gave it to Stacey. So then you have the other side of the Christian music industry, which is like the CCM side, which is like Christian contemporary music on radio, which is like all those Christian singles and stuff, and that is more like a very positive, uplifting, happy kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And most of those songs are designed for a particular demographic. They're geared for that demographic because they still purchase music.
Yeah.
and that's just good business. It doesn't necessarily reflect the creativity and the calling that we feel as a band to write. Like for us, our premise isn't to make money from this. Our premise is to express honest and the most beautiful worship that we can to Jesus. Like whether that makes a ton of money or whether that makes no money, like it doesn't matter. That's not the point.
Yeah.
It's not the design. And for me, like I look back in history and you look at the likes of Bach or Handel. Like Handel's Messiah is one of the most amazing classical works, probably the most amazing. Like secular scholars are in awe of that, and it's worship, and it's so beautiful. And Christians used to lead the world in art and in worship. Worship that was so amazing that the world is in awe of it.
Yeah.
And currently, I feel like we've forgotten something. Like, in the pursuit of making things accessible and saleable and corporate marketable, we've forgotten we're not bringing God our best anymore. We're bringing God our most sellable, our most marketable. And I feel like there's so much amazing art that is in the world that doesn't get heard. There's so many amazing Christian artists that don't get heard, that are trying to just glorify God in the most beautiful way. And Christian radio won't play them. They won't. Because, like, a 45-year-old soccer mum isn't... Well, they think a 45-year-old soccer mum won't like it. Or if a song touches on something that's a bit dark, like real life trials, like, you know, my cousin just died of brain cancer, like, that sucks. If I write a song about that, and God, where are you in this, in the midst of my pain, like, that's not going to make it on Christian radio. That's not going to sell to a 45-year-old woman.
Sure.
I'm sorry, this may sound a bit brutal, but I'm just being honest to you with, like, the state of where things are at in Christian music.
No, I would completely agree with you. It sounds to me like your focus is to draw worship out of someone, not based on the fact that you are purposefully doing it, but based on the beauty of the artistry in which you are portraying in your own worship, causing someone else to worship by default, because they're there with you in that worship experience.
I think that's actually quite true. Like, I think it's a bit of both, but I do think it's quite true. Like, I have that same experience listening to even secular bands.
Yeah.
Like, for me, every good and perfect gift comes from God, right?
Right.
God is the source of that creativity, you know? God made us in His image, whether we're kids at home or whether we're kids that haven't come home yet, whether we're the prodigals or the kids that are at home with Dad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But all of us have that we've been created in His image, and we can be creative, and we can still seeking and finding is like a truth. Okay, it's not only for Christians, and you can seek and find sounds, you know.
Yep.
And like a band like Sigur Rós, to me, like one of the most incredible, beautiful, incredible music. And to me, when I hear it, all I want to do is worship God, because I just go, wow, you are amazing, God, because you're the ultimate source of this, and that draws out worship in me, and it inspires me. And lots of Christians get a bit upset that, like, bands like us, like, listen to a lot of secular music, but the reality is there is some, but there's not a ton of Christian artists that are really going after beautiful sounds. They're going after catchy hits, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it doesn't really inspire me.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting, and I really appreciate your honesty. I think that it's refreshing to hear that it seems to me, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems to me that you could really care less about the popularity as long as God is getting the worship and that message is going forth.
If God is getting the best that I have, if I can die an old man knowing that I gave God the best of my creativity for His glory, I'll die a happy man.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So going back to the first part of the question, so Ember Days, what does that
Oh
mean?
yeah, sorry. Well, the name is kind of funny. Like, I didn't name the band. Elliot, one of our first members, did. He's a sweet dude. So he came up with two names: Amandine, which is like a Greek word for grace, and then another, and then also the Ember Days. I don't know where he found them. I don't know how he came up with the names, but we
Okay.
both were like, oh well, that's cool. So at our first show, we did paper scissors rock between Amandine and the Ember Days, and the Ember Days won. So since that time, we've been called the Ember Days, and um, the meaning behind the Ember Days is quite cool, even though the band wasn't named it because of the meaning. It was named it because of chance, or was it? I
Yeah,
don't know.
right.
You can debate about that, but it's like yeah, the Ember Days are like part of the liturgical calendar, which is like a traditional church calendar. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and basically it's days that are set apart for prayer and fasting, mainly for peace and for leadership, from what I've been told from practicing people that practice a lot of liturgy.
Okay.
Um, and so, yeah, that's what the Ember Days are. Yeah,
Okay. Very good. So, you guys, how long have you been married now to Janelle?
about 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, do you do you guys ever? I guess I'm trying to pick like. Do you ever guys get any flack in your in the industry for having a female lead versus having a male lead? Because I've heard music industry wise, performance wise, that there can be a challenge there. Not saying anything against her singing ability. I actually I love her voice. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But are there challenges there? Do you ever have to feel like you have to justify having a female lead with your band?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever really experienced that.
Okay.
Um, the reality is that female um, fronted bands in the mainstream Christian industry are actually doing really well at the moment.
Okay.
The likes of, so in the worship world, you've got the likes of Beth Johnson, Kim Walker, and then you got like that song Oceans from Hillsong. That was a big song. And then you've got the likes of Kerry Jobe.
Yep.
So there is a lot of female vocals are really popular right now, actually, in the
Okay.
worship kind of world. But we've never copped flack for it. Yeah, we normally just cop flack from people that get a bit uptight about certain things.
Sure. Well, there's a
Um,
lot of. I think I find a lot of chance for legalism in the music industry in and of itself because there are so many. There are people that just love hymns. There are people that just love
yeah,
regular worship type music
yeah,
where like a Chris Tomlin or a Matthew Redman, and
yeah,
then there's I'd say that there's an upcoming movement with bands like Jesus Culture and I'm trying to think of a couple others that
definitely.
have really kind of started the Bethel Live,
Yeah,
with where you have a male and a female vocalist singing. So a lot of collaborations and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of a I think we're going to see more of that.
By the way, I really love Bethel's, like, Bethel and Hillsong are both being so creative with their worship music. Like,
Yeah.
I've been really encouraged to see them, like, go after that, because they're not radio bands, but so it kind of gives them the freedom to just, like, they're just going after it, and that's actually really encouraging. They could play it really safe and just write really boring and produce their songs really in a boring way, but they're pushing the boundaries, and that excites me. It's been nice to see that.
Awesome. Well, so who are you guys on tour with right now, or are you guys just doing it solo?
We're just doing our own headlining tour at the moment. We are playing with different bands and different friends' bands. Like this weekend, we're doing a show with John Mark, Macmillan, Loud Harp, and Leland. So that's going to be really fun up in Rochester. But yeah, at the moment we've just been out with us, just us. We did do a few shows with Loud Harp at an earlier part of the run. That was amazing. If you haven't heard of them, you should check them out. They're incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do. Yeah. What is on the schedule for you guys, say in the next 3 or 4 months? Are you guys going to stay on the East Coast? Are you guys going to do some Mid-America stuff? You guys would come over here to Washington so I can see you?
Yeah, we just played in Washington about a month ago.
Of course you did. Of course you did. I didn't get to see you.
We played about 5 times in Washington. So we've been out on tour for 2.5 months. So we've already done a big portion of the South, the West Coast, some of Canada. We went through like Salt Lake, we did Colorado, Kansas, all that, up to Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, back down to Tennessee. Then we just went up from Tennessee up into Michigan, Toronto, back into New York, and we've just been touring our way out to the East Coast. We've been out on the East Coast, and so we'll be out on the East Coast here for another like week and a half, and then we head back to Nashville and play a show there. And then we've got another run starting up in September that comes back up to the New York area, then down. It's going to go down to Florida and across to Louisiana, Texas kind of area, and then back to Nashville. And I think that'll be it for our touring for the year. We're about to go after that, yeah.
So that's got to take a toll. And you said you have one child, or do you have more?
Yeah, so me and Janelle have a 2.5-year-old boy called Judah. He's a tour baby.
Yeah.
So we've actually got an RV now, which has been awesome instead of having the van, and it's made it way more doable on the road because he can just play as we cruise down the highway versus being locked up in a car seat for 6 hours a day. So it's pretty good. We've got our crew out, like our sound guy from New Zealand is here, and our tour managers are awesome, and then all the boys. Everyone loves Judah heaps, so
that's good.
It'd be weird without him now. So
yeah,
but it was tiring. I'm not gonna lie, it's exhausting.
Yeah, I imagine. Do you guys, how often, say in a week or two, do you guys get a day off? I know you said today's a day off, but yet you're here with me, so it's not technically a day off.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. When do we technically have off days? I don't know. No. Yeah. We need to start technically having off days.
Yeah. Now, are you guys, when you make it back and you finish this tour, is that when you're going to focus on your next album, or are you going to take some time off from that and then work in the studio?
We've really had this album on our hearts for this, like the last year, so we've been kind of writing and working on stuff at home before we left for tour, and then on the road we've been loading in earlier than normal so that we can actually write.
Okay.
So we've been writing and working on songs this entire year, and when we get home we're going to have, so at the end of October we're going to have like about 10 days off, But after that 10 days, we're going to go for about 5 weeks straight and just do pre-production, which is just like getting together every day and working on songs as a band. And then starting to do it with our producer towards the end, and then going into the studio. So, yeah, I'm excited. These new songs are special to me.
Have you been trying them out on some of your shows and kind of gauging the audience on what they like?
Yeah, there's this new song, Refuge, we've been playing, and it's been amazing.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking.
Been amazing.
I can't wait to hear what you guys have. So this kind of leads to, you guys are you started up a Kickstarter. So tell me a little bit about the Kickstarter and what your end goal is with that, and how that's gonna play into your next album.
So yeah, I mean, if whoever is watching wants, you can open up a tab and just go kickstarter.theemberdays.com, and that'll open it up, and you can see what I'm talking about. So basically, we've been at a little bit of a crossroads with our hearts, and it's been such a brutal year for us. Lots of really horrific stuff has just been happening in the world around us, and even in our community. A friend of ours and a couple of friends of ours were having beautiful married couple, like having their first baby, and about 6 weeks in got diagnosed with like this really rare form of something. Basically, they gave the baby a 1% chance of making it full term.
Okay.
And then if the baby did get to full term, it had a 1% chance of surviving. So everyone rallied around and started praying, and the baby made it to 39 weeks and 2 days in the womb and then died. Which is it's just really horrific. And then, my cousin dying, just a bit older than me, brain tumor, left his 2-year-old. We were praying for him. He was believing for the Lord to do a miracle. He's a believing man. He's amazing. Other friends of ours have had so many crazy struggles. Then, not to mention just relationship breakdowns, like you get married and your friends start getting married, and then your friends start getting divorced, and it's like really hard. And what it's kind of made us realize is that there's so many hurting people, and there's all these common questions like, why?
Yeah.
Why me? Why now? Like, what's the purpose in this? Like, God, are you there? Like, God, where are you? Like, where are you in this? Like, how do I reconcile your goodness, God, with the state of my life? How do I recognize these promises in the scripture versus my current outcome?
Yep.
So many believers wrestling with these questions, and a lot of them, what's out there, like with the world becoming so much more digital and so much more connected in this way, but real community seems to be becoming less and less. And people, when they are hanging out, are checking out Instagram or their Facebook feed, or for geeks, like looking on Reddit or whatever they're looking at, that's what my brother checks out, Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit's pretty popular.
Yeah, but so, man, like, this album has just been like reconciling the pain and finding Jesus in the pain, and it's so easy to feel alone, and trying to create a beautiful album of songs that help people not feel alone, that help people feel like they're not the only one that's going through that pain, and then also encouraging them to see the Lord in the midst of their pain. And like, we've been shooting all this amazing visual stuff, so it's going to be worship, but not in a corporate sense. Like, we are going to still have corporate songs on the record that you would be able to sing in your church, but again, like, we're not trying to write the next biggest album for CCLI to pay rent, you know, like, it's not about that. It's like we're trying to help people, and the songs that have really made an impact to people, the songs we get letters and letters and letters about, are the songs that wrestle those tough questions and help people process pain. Like, this year I've had probably, I'm not exaggerating, maybe 20, maybe 25 people come up and say, I'll never let go of More Than You Think. That got me through the last 2 years. My mum just died after like an 8-year battle with cancer, and I had no way of processing it. That song got me through, and it helped me hang on to Jesus. I mean, to me, that's meaningful, and it may not be a song that you can sing in church, but that doesn't take away from the fact that our heart is pointed to the Lord, and that's what we want, you know?
Yeah.
So the worship purists are going to be like, you're not even really a worship band anymore. And like, I just don't care. We're doing what God's calling us to do, so they can be upset. I don't mind.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. I think that the genuineness in that shows through your music, and really certainly hearing you talk about it. I mean, I can see you're absolutely passionate about worshiping God, and I think that's a thing that you can't take for granted. So it's amazing to hear you say these things. I noticed on your website a very selfless thing is such as, here are the chords to our songs, and I know that bands don't do that a lot, and I think that that's awesome because it really just shows the genuineness and the worship that what you guys are trying to portray and offer to people. So I have nothing but the highest regards and respect for what you guys are doing, Jason. And I mean, please, give our regards to your band, and I'll make sure to. We're going to publish on our website. We're going to publish your guys' schedule so that any of our viewers that watch this can come check you guys out, and hopefully they can say, "Hey, I saw you on Geeks Under Grace, and I'd never heard of you guys before, but I thought I'd come check you out." Hopefully you guys get some good feedback from some of our viewers as well. I don't want to take too much. I don't want to take too much more of your time. So let me just ask real quick, nerdy, geeky stuff that you and the band like to do, and then I'll let you have the floor for your final whatever you want to say, and then I'm going to let you get back to your family.
Well, okay, so I do enjoy games. My brother used to be a guild leader in World of Warcraft back in the day. Mm-hmm. He was pretty hard out, but now he plays a bit of Dota. He's like a foreign exchange trader, so he trades and plays Dota at the same time. Okay. I kind of are you out? Love you, bro. Love you, man. I do enjoy that game. I used to be really into Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. Okay. That was one of my favorite games. I can legitimately say I was way better than my brother at that game. I like Call of Duty. It's nothing quite like getting together with your mates and just shooting at each other on a computer screen. Right. But my game of choice right now is on my iPhone, and it's what I use to go to sleep, and I play Candy Crush. How boring is that?
Now, you and my wife would get along great then, because she plays Candy Crush all the time.
So, yeah, that's about it. And I know that Logan plays a bit of Candy Crush as well. Okay. Our other guitarist.
What about Janelle? Does she have any geeky hobbies? Or is she like a book reader or anything like that?
Janelle loves journaling. Our whole band is real nerdy when it comes to coffee.
Awesome.
We love coffee, and we have all different ways of brewing it. So we've got Chemex, we've got AeroPress, we've got French press, we've got there's another way. What else have we got on there? We've got a few other different ways of brewing coffee on the bus, but people are always brewing coffee and getting nerdy on that. But we get real nerdy with our music gear for sure. Of course. Always talking about pedals and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome, man. So, any last words? Anything you want to say to anybody watching this now? Like I said, we're gonna link back to your site and your Kickstarter, and we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about you, and we'll put you on the website. So, what do you want to say to anybody that's just now listening or gonna start listening to you guys soon?
Well, I guess there was this one thing I forgot to touch on about the Kickstarter, which was
Oh, sure.
we've like we've one of my good friends, Ryan Cox. He's a really awesome filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like out of his own pocket. He's been flying around the world just getting all this amazing footage to go behind what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of the Kickstarter budget is we're trying to raise 15 grand of that budget is trying to go back to Ryan because he's already spent thousands and thousands of dollars just flying around the world to get this footage for us. Not to mention the hundreds and hundreds of hours he's going to have to spend editing it because we're going to put it behind our live show and make some music video type things out of it. And the whole purpose of it isn't just like, oh, let's get cool visuals because that's fun. Like,
right.
It's got to have purpose for us for it to be important. And for me, the scripture says like creation declares the glory of God, and having a very strong worship component and heartbeat behind what we're doing, having images that are declaring the glory of God while our music is doing the same thing, to me just is like, you know what I'm talking about, it's honest, it's everything is communicating the same thing, the glory of God, and it's not going to be done in a cheesy way, it's going to be done more like Lord of the Rings epic style versus like, oh, there's a nice lyric video with a pretty little waterfall. Like, it's not that. It's going to be like, that mountain is huge. Oh my goodness, God is so powerful. You know, like the images are going to help people in those tough places, that in those painful areas or in those broken places to come along to a show and then somehow lift their eyes out of their circumstances. And where it seems like God is so powerless in their lives, they'll be able to see this imagery and realize that God is so powerful. He's so capable of creating beauty. And he can bring good things and create beauty in our lives too. And I don't know. To me, I'm so excited, not only about the art, but even more so about the result that this project is going to have on hearts.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to bless people. I believe it with everything in me. Can I tell you one really quick story?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we were on tour, and Ry the filmmaker, he had come up to British Columbia to film up there, and we went to this, we're coffee nerds, so we always go to like epic coffee places. So we go to this coffee shop. It was amazing. I was like, right, we're in Vancouver. Let's just go like film some dirty city stuff, like gritty bricks and like buildings and alleys, and just maybe we'll use it. You know, like maybe we'll find a space if there's like kind of a grittier song or something. I don't know. Let's just go shoot something. So we grabbed the camera. And we had this Movi. I don't know if you heard of Movi. It's like this makes camera shots real smooth. Anyway, and we walked down this alley, and it's just real near the cafe. We walked down the alley. It's real dirty, and there's all these needles everywhere. I was like, "Flip, man, this is like a bit sketchy, you know." And then we come out down the alley, we turn right, and just started on this journey. It was about 100 yards of this alley, and there was about maybe 25 people in the alley, and the first person I saw was this gentleman on the right who was, I think he was like maybe an Aboriginal, you know, native person to that area, and he was so high on something crazy. It reminded me of when you had hit, I don't know if it was a horrible game, but Grand Theft Auto, you'd hit someone on that game and people start flailing really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, it was like that. He was flailing around, and then he like looked at me in the eyes, and I just looked into his eyes, and I was like, flip, man. All I could see was just pain.
Yeah.
Like, just pain, and I was like, wow. It just, it was like a movie. It struck me in my heart so hard, and I kept on walking, and there was these three young girls, probably like between 17 and 19 maybe, and they literally had their arms out, like injecting heroin right into their like veins as I'm watching, like right there. Not even hiding it, just like injecting it, and then like as she was injecting it into her arm, she like looks up at me, just straight in the eyes, and I'm just like, flip, man, like the same thing. It's just like pain. This pain, this numb pain. Anyway, then there was this group of three young guys, same thing. Another guy smoking meth in a pipe, just like let it right then, and looks up at me. It's like everyone just looked up at me. Messed me up, man. Messed me up. The beauty of creation, just being around that, and then God's most cherished and beautiful creation, so messed up and so much pain. And it's just, that's where this album's coming from. That's what's got me so passionate, because people need Jesus so bad. Yeah, people need to see their value. People need to see the potential for God to bring beauty in their lives. People need to see that God is strong when even if everything seems to be falling apart, that there's hope, that there's hope, that there's hope, that they can hang on. And that's the message we're trying to bring. Yeah.
Well, that's powerful. I mean, that I just visualized that entire thing, that whole story, and I can I feel your heart, man. I'm so thankful for what you guys are doing. I'm thankful for your genuineness, your transparency, you know, and I just, you know, I pray for you guys that you guys do well, just successfully, that God takes care of every need for you, and then blesses you even more abundantly for your obedience in His will for you. So, man, you guys just keep fighting the good fight and making good music and touching hearts. That's just what we need.
Well, sounds awesome, man. Next time we come out to Washington, we'll have to hang out, okay?
Well, you guys are absolutely welcome. I'm up here in a little bit north of Seattle, so you guys are welcome to stay at the house if you're looking for a place to stay. Yeah, I'm in Lake Stevens.
We just played Lake Stevens, dude.
I can't believe that you just played Lake Stevens. Where did you play in Lake Stevens?
I think it was like Calvary Chapel or something.
I can't believe I missed you guys. I've been kind of out of the loop, man. I don't know if you know, I'm in the Navy up here, so.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm stayed pretty busy, and then the website, of course, keeps me busy. So I feel like I have neglected the opportunity to see you guys, because you were literally in the same town that I live in.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. So you guys come up to Lake Stevens. You guys have a home to stay. I got a big man cave with a bunch of geeky stuff downstairs, so you're welcome to stay anytime.
That sounds awesome.
Awesome. Well, hey, listen, thank you so much for the interview. I'll send you some emails and stuff with links to this and everything, and then what I'll post up on the website and whatever, and you know, we'll chat. Just, you know, keep lines of communication. If there's anything that we can do for you, you please let us know.
Thank you so much, and I'm so stoked you're doing what you're doing.
Thanks, brother. Well, God bless you guys. Tell your wife we said hello, and tell the rest of the band we give our regards.
All right, bless you.
Okay. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.